In this lecture, we will see the water contamination related to agriculture chemicals. Water, you all know that the byproducts of agricultural practices can cause pollution to water. So, what are the different types of pollutions that can be caused, water pollutions that can be caused by agricultural practices that we will see in this lecture. So, first of all, we can see that the water contamination related to agricultural chemicals can be of four types. First one, it is the use of manures, fertilizers and biosolids can cause pollution. Intensive animal practices, when a group of animals are fed intensively, then that may cause water contamination. Use of pesticides, herbicides and other things may cause water contamination. And irrigation and drainage is another source by which water is contaminated. So these are the different practices in agriculture which can cause water pollution. So we will see each of them. First one is use of manures, fertilizers and biosolids. So in that we will first see the use of human excreta and animal manure. So they are used as fertilizers, biofertilizers in case of agriculture, in the agriculture fields. Animal manures have a long history of use as fertilizer. Of course, we will use cow dung and other waste for agricultural production. Human excrement is also used in some countries for fertilization of agricultural land. So both of these contains nitrogen in a variety of chemical forms. Nitrate, ammonium salts, organic nitrogen, etc. So all these kinds of nitrogen forms are available in these two, animal manures as well as human excrement. So what will happen is, when this is applied to the field, it can be leached. So when water comes through rainfall or irrigation, this nitrate will leach down into the groundwater and it may contaminate the groundwater. So this is a possibility. And the nitrogen content of the manure varies depending on the species from which it is derived. There are different kinds of animal manures and human excrements. So based on the species from it is derived, based on whether it is from cow, it is from beef, goat, it is from chicks, or whatever it is, based on the products or species from which it is derived, the nitrogen content of the manure varies. So age of the manure and the condition under which it has been stored also affect the nitrogen content. So each of these contains different amount of nitrogen. But the final result is, using any of the manure, the leaching of the nitrate will occur and it will finally contaminate the water. Longer storage and the application of the manure to the surface of the soil can result in the loss of up to 20% of the nitrogen content through the evaporation of ammonia. Depending on the local chemical conditions in soil, organic nitrogen may be broken down into inorganic nitrogen and this may leach into water. Leaching of nitrates will occur where there is insufficient plant growth to take up the nitrogen. When there are sufficient amount of or number of plants, they can take up this nitrogen. But when there are no sufficient amount of plants for taking up this nitrogen, then what will happen? If water is given to that particular area through rainfall or through irrigation or something, this water will dissolve all this nitrogen and it will finally enters the groundwater and it will in turn contaminates the groundwater. And both nitrates and nitrates have the same toxicological effects because they have the same mechanism of action. So this is about the use of human excreta and animal manure. Now the second thing is chemical fertilizers. So as we all know that as we have to increase the agricultural production or yield of the agricultural products, we have started using chemical fertilizers which are more effective than biological fertilizers. So the nutrients are more immediately available for plants by using this chemical fertilizers. But it has a disadvantage because uh, when these chemical fertilizers are used, they have the ability to easily get leached into groundwater. So they have advantages as well as disadvantages. The advantages, they will be available for plant uptake, easily available for plant uptake. At the same time, it has a disadvantage that it will be easily leached into groundwater. So slow release fertilizers will be a solution for this problem caused by the chemical fertilizers. And the third one is biosolids. Biosolids are nothing but they are the residue of the chemical, biological and physical treatment of municipal and industrial waste and septic tank treatment processes. So biosolids are just the residue of all the treatments on this chemical, biological and physical uh, treatments of municipal and industrial waste. They are the residues. The excessive application of sometimes these biosolids are used as some source of nutrients to plants. Okay, when these are used in excess amount, a number of problems can be caused due to the leaching of these biosolids into water resources. This also contains a large amount of nitrogen or in the form of nitrates, ammonia, etc. When this gets leached, it will reach the groundwater and cause contamination. So these are the different biological fertilizers from human excreta, biosolids and organic manures which can cause pollution to water. And the nitrate levels in the groundwater due to all these chemicals depends upon many factors. So the amount of leaching, when large amount of leaching occurs, large amount of nitrogen will be there. The soil type, climate, depth of water table and the use of irrigation are other parameters which depends on the nitrate levels in water. So regarding the soil type, the sandy soils are particularly vulnerable to nitrate leaching because they have large sized particles. They are coast textured soil and large sized holes are there. So leaching will be easier in sandy soils. So sandy soils are most vulnerable to nitrate leaching. And nitrate is retained more effectively in loamy soils. It is retained in loamy soils. Leaching will be less in loamy soils because it contains small number of pores and very small sized pores. Okay, so this is the case. And regarding rainfall, the another factor depending on the amount of nitrate is rainfall. When rainfall is excess, leaching will be excess, of course. Heavy rain causes an initial peak when infiltrating. Water flushes nitrate from the soil. Okay. And also another important factor is excessive irrigation. When irrigation is excess, again the nitrate leaching will be higher. And another one is climate. In cold climate, plants cannot absorb more nutrients. They will be dormant. They cannot absorb more nutrients. So in that case, what will happen? The nutrient in the soil will be higher. So when some water comes in that soil, what will happen? Leaching will be there. So in cold climate, leaching will be higher and the uptake of plant, because the uptake of plants, uptake of nutrients by plants will be lesser. And if there is another important factor is the depth of water table. When there is a shallow water table available, then there is a greater risk of increased concentration of nitrates in groundwater. When there is a shallow water table, the nitrate level in groundwater will be higher and the water will be more contaminated. Okay, so these are the different factors affecting the nitrate levels in the water due to all the chemicals which we have discussed earlier. And the second important factor which causes pollution in water due to agriculture is intensive animal practices. Intensive animal practice means we are producing or we are what is that? We are growing animals in an intensive way. In group of animals, we are growing in an intensive way. So in feedlots, there is a name, there is a term in this slide which is a feedlot. It is typically used for beef, pork and poultry to confine animals in open air or completely enclosed pens under controlled environments to optimize growth and the quality of meat and other products. So we are confining the animals to a certain area, whether it is an open air or whether it is an enclosed pen or a barn. Okay, so they are known as feedlot. So we are growing animals in a feedlot. So in that case, what will happen? The amount of uh, whatever it is, food or the chemicals or the manures or whatever which are given to animals and which are the byproducts from the animals will be released into water in a bulk amount. So intensive animal practices is another important factor in agriculture which causes pollution to water. So intensification of agriculture has increased fertilizer use and stock densities, increasing overall nutrient loadings from these diffuse non-point sources of pollution. These are the non-point sources of pollution. And feed loads. These feed loads will be a point source of pollution when it is directly exposed to a water source. Feed loads may generate large amounts of waste that have the potential to cause pollution of water resources if improperly managed. Main sources of pollution from this intensive animal practices are improper disposal of manure, animal carcasses, dead bodies, wastewater, feeding and bedding materials. So all these things, when it is related to water, it may cause pollution. In developed countries, these intensive stock rearing practices have been implicated in water pollution incidents. So in developed countries, it is a very important factor which causes water pollution. And another important factor in agriculture which causes water pollution is the use of pesticides. Earlier we have seen the use of fertilizers. Here we are going to see the use of pesticides. How the use of pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, etc. can cause water pollution. So you all know that what are these pesticides, herbicides and other chemicals. These are the chemicals which are used to control the insects, weeds and fungal pathogens in plants. Okay, when these are used in excess amount, that can be leached through water, through soil, and it may cause contamination to the groundwater. It causes water contamination and thereby many health hazards. For example, we can say that the endosulfan tragedy in Kasaragod district of Kerala. So that is a very good example of this use of pesticides causing water pollution. And the concentration of agricultural chemicals in surface waters depends on these much factors. One is the application rate, how much amount of fertilizer or pesticide is applied on the plant. When it is applied in excess, it may cause leaching. It may lead to leaching, which in turn causes water contamination. Interception loss on plants. When these chemicals are intercepted by plant leaves, they are sustained on plant leaves or plant stem. When rain comes, all these will get dissolved in the rainwater and it will reach the groundwater. Okay, that is interception loss. Soil characteristic. When it is a coarse textured soil, leaching will be higher. Climate. When it is cold climate or rainfall climate or monsoon climate, then water will be amount of water causing leaching will be higher. And another factor is the extent to which the chemicals are absorbed into the soil. When the soil has no ability to absorb that chemicals, then these chemicals will be leached. Whether or not irrigation is used. When irrigation is used in excess, what will happen? Leaching will be higher. So all these factors will affect the quantity of agriculture chemicals in surface water, while the degree to which agriculture chemicals can be leached into groundwater depends upon these factors. So earlier we have discussed about the surface water, chemicals on surface water. Now we are discussing the chemicals in groundwater, concentration of chemicals in groundwater. The extent to which chemicals are absorbed onto organic matter in soil. When soils have the ability to absorb more chemicals, then leaching will be lesser. The extent to which they are volatilized from the soil. Volatilized means ammonia and all. If there is ammonia and all, ammonia is volatile. So it will be evaporated from the surface and in the soil its content will be less. So when the content of that particular compound is less in soil, the chance of leaching will be less. Okay. So volatilization is higher. When volatilization is higher, the leaching chance will be lesser. The rate of degradation within the soil. When the compound is degraded in the soil, whether it is pesticide or fertilizer, when degradation occurs, the leaching chance will be higher. The solution of the chemicals in water, solubility of the chemicals in water. When the chemicals are mostly highly soluble in water, then leaching will be higher. The amount of percolating water that is available to mobilize them. When there is sufficient amount to percolate, then leaching will be higher. So all these factors will affect the concentration of chemicals in groundwater. And the final factor in agriculture which causes water pollution is irrigation and drainage. Irrigation and drainage can play a role in the transport of pollutants from their sources to water supply. So irrigation and drainage both causes the movement of water, the flow of water. So when flow of water occurs, The movement of some chemicals also occurs if it is an agricultural field. So irrigation water may cause salts to leach from soils in certain circumstances. So excess irrigation lead to water table rise. When we are giving excess irrigation, the water table will rise. This rise in water table will bring the salts to the soil, to the surface soils, and this may contaminate the surface water. So in two ways it can cause. One is leaching of the salts, other one is when excess irrigation occurs, increase in water table cause increase in the amount of salt. The large amount of water used in agriculture makes the risk of leaching nitrates and other chemicals potentially greater in areas that are irrigated. So drainage from the irrigation system may increase the rate of oxidation. So irrigation can affect the water pollution, can cause water pollution by leaching or increase in water table, while drainage causes the oxidation of organic bound nitrogen, which gives rise to the elevated nitrogen concentration, rise to the nitrate concentration on the soil, and it may get leached while rainfall or irrigation occurs. So this is the case of irrigation as well as drainage. Now we will see some of the numbers related to this agricultural water pollution. Irrigation is the world's largest producer in volume of wastewater, because irrigation means a flow of water. That flow of water can cause movement of some chemicals from one place to another. It may be to some water sources or groundwater or whatever it is. So irrigation is the world's largest producer in the volume of wastewater in the form of agricultural drainage. Globally, around 115 million tons of mineral nitrogen fertilizers are applied to croplands each year. Around 20% of this nitrogen inputs end up accumulating in soil and biomass, whereas 35% of this comes to the oceans, which causes again pollution. Worldwide, 4.6 million tons of chemical pesticides are sprayed into the environment every year. This is not a good number. Developing countries account for 25% of world pesticide use in farming, but 99% of the world's deaths due to pesticides. So in developing countries, almost 99% of the world's deaths due to pesticides are occurring in developing countries, because they are using more and more pesticides which are harmful to human beings. Okay. Recent estimates that the economic impact of pesticides on non-target species. Non-target species mean the species which are not targeted by that particular pesticides. Pesticides are targeting only pests. Okay, so it is not targeting human beings. So the non-targeting species is approximately, impact of pesticides on non-targeting species is approximately 8 billion annually in developing countries. They are causing harm to humans and other species in developing countries. Oxygen depletion or hypoxia, the condition is known as hypoxia, resulting from man-made nutrient overloading effects, an area of 240,000 km square globally, comprising 70,000 km square of inland waters like ponds, rivers, etc., and 170,000 km square of coastal areas, seas. Worldwide, an estimated 24% of the area under irrigation is affected by salinization. When irrigation is there, movement of salt is also there, so it may cause salinization. Currently, more than 700 emerging pollutants are enlisted by the European aquatic environment from agriculture. So these are the situations which we are facing now. Now, how to solve these issues? There are mainly three solutions for this. One is the government regulation. Proper government regulations have to be established for regulating the use of these pesticides, herbicides, or whatever it is which can cause pollution. Second thing is we have to make the farmer aware of the use of or the impacts of these pesticides and chemicals. They should be taught that the excessive use of fertilizer and pesticides has a huge adverse impact on the whole ecosystem. Another important solution is the change in agricultural practices. We have to change these agricultural practices and we have to make it completely organic. Okay, so these are the main solutions. So with this, we will complete this lecture. Thank you.